Turn the light on.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Soulful Ascension episode. And today's guest, I am excited to share David Groode, who is from California and is an amazing, gifted, intuitive, which has been awakening people for the last 35 years with helping people do. David's been working with an international global clientele and created a rock star career as intuitive reading, supporting people to see what they can't see in order to achieve their dreams. And we all want clarity on our dreams, right? The clarity that one session with David, and I can testify to this spot on. It can take years to arrive without his guidance. So making a breakthrough acceleration towards healing and integration and taking your life to the next level. Welcome, David. So wonderful to have you here today, and thank you for being here.
Thanks, LindaJoy. So great to be here. Thank you for having me. And you were breaking up a little bit on my end, but I can still hear you. So I don't know how that's going to be when it is Mercury retrograde, but oh well. Anyway, great to be here. And there's so much happening in our world right now. It's like, wow, hang on to your hats. There's just
Absolutely.
so many layers and so much and more big things occurring this year. So,
well, since you've dived into what's happening on planet Earth, would you like to expand on that for the audience to actually help the audience to understand the importance of the crossroads that we're at and the intense energy that everyone is currently feeling?
yeah, we're in a 10-1 year in the numerology. So it's a new cycle for 2026. New energy, new directions, new focus, new possibilities, new ways of being. More of the negative or the I could say lower astral planes. Just more of the negative is clearing out of our world. It's in
Yes,
process.
that's right. Yes.
It's still a lot for people to process for some people while it's all happening.
Mm.
Um, because it's going to create a certain amount of disruptions in people's lives or in the world while we're going through all of these changes. And
Mhm.
people really need to have some flexibility and to stay
Mm.
open, to feel safe in their hearts and to trust their hearts and to really let go and
Yeah,
give themselves freedom and permission to allow themselves to live in their hearts and have everything that they feel connected to in their hearts that really nurtures them, inspires them, brings people alive, and not hold back. To just say yes.
absolutely. Yes. So, many people who actually feel unsure about these times or feeling lost about their purpose, in your experience, why do you feel that people feel disconnected from their soul's purpose in the first place?
Well, I think people get pulled around by what other people want, trying to please other people,
The
trying to do
people
what they
pleasing.
were taught that they were supposed to do.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's valuable and has its place and is good. Um, I don't. I feel that people are in positions where they need to take care of other people, children, elderly parents, other people, and they don't always feel free to be able to do both, or they feel like they have to do one thing before they do the other. And that's not always the case.
Yeah. So,
And
so hmm, go ahead.
oh, it's just, and it's also about being clear, like, okay, what what is your people's vision for what they've come into this world to experience, learn, create, and do? You know,
Mm.
what do they feel that creator put them into this world for?
E- Exactly. And this
And
is where we complement each other, because the work I also do is help them realign with their soul's mission and their soul's purpose, and to accept and love for all those past experiences that they've created on their journey, even the ones they didn't quite like, but they learnt something from a soul's perspective. So if someone's listening right now feels off track in their life, what would you suggest their first step they can take to reconnect with their soul's calling?
I
Especially
would
when you've
say,
mentioned the people pleasing and all these old programs and all the everything that people have been caught up in, which has dumbed them down, and they feel that, but they're frustrated.
yeah, I would say that the first thing is to notice everything in their lives that God has entrusted them with, whether it's taking care of a beautiful family or a home or animals or, you know, different responsibilities and things that are, although they can feel sometimes heavy or like a burden, it's really a great joy because God gifted those things to you and entrusted you with those things to care for and to show up for and to maybe help those that weren't in a position to help themselves or to help grow children, which is a blessing for our world because that's our
Absolutely.
future. And
Yeah.
so the thing is to just notice. So you don't even have to do anything except notice and be, wow, thank you. I have so much that God has entrusted me with.
Mhm.
And what a gift. And to accept that fully, to really allow yourself to receive that. That's one.
Mm.
Two, people people deflect. So what I mean by that is people don't allow themselves to receive the full gift of who they are. And one of the ways to do it, or a way, is to look in front of the mirror and make eye contact with yourself
Mm.
and say, okay, while you're looking yourself in the eyes, I'm ready to receive the gift that I am.
Yes.
Download into you
Mirror.
like a multifaceted jewel. You could feel like
Beautiful.
a jewel just being downloaded into you. And you can feel, you can begin to receive and feel your light.
Love it. Yes.
Um,
Mirror work
embrace,
is very, very important. Very, it's one of
yeah,
the steps.
you can allow that light to just embrace you and nurture you and fill you up. And you want to work on amplifying that light every day. So, you know, and here's a really good example. Some people's relationships amplify each other's shadow rather than amplifying each other's light.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
So,
yes.
but for people to have a really healthy relationship, they've got to be connected with their own light
Mm, that's right.
and to
The
be and to
relationship
be
with
able
themselves first.
totally. And not everybody's met themselves yet on a core level. But to be in this world in the future and everything, the people that are going to be here are going to be people that are awake and people who have met themselves at their core.
Beautiful. Do you believe our soul's purpose is something that's predetermined, or something that we co-create as we grow and evolve in this very short journey here on Earth?
I believe that we make soul agreements before we come in of
Yes.
certain things we're going to learn and experience and who we're going to have um, significant relationships or
Mm,
connections in family or friends or relationships that we're going to learn from and grow with.
mm, mm,
And I believe we
mm.
have our earth family that we were born into. And I believe we have our soul family. And sometimes parts of those overlap and are the same, and sometimes they're completely different.
Yes.
Um, those soul agreements are a lot deeper than people might imagine. I
Mm.
read a really good book. Now, this book was so good, I have to tell you all that I read this book in 5 days. Now, I don't read books in 5 days, but this book was so good. I read it in 5 days. It was called Your Soul's Plan, and it was by Robert Schwartz. So
Mm.
good. He wrote another one called Your Soul's Gifts, but I haven't read that yet.
Wow.
So that's a
I'll look
really,
that up too. Yeah.
oh, so good. So soul agreements are a really big thing.
Mm,
You know, they determine a lot, but we have the ability as we get conscious of what they are, sometimes we can renegotiate some of it if we want to, you know? If it's our destiny to go through something, we're probably going to go through it, but
mm.
we can renegotiate our attitude, our way that we perceive it, and our way of being to have a completely different experience with it and utilize
Yeah.
it as like a gift from heaven to transform with.
Yes. Actually,
Because,
yeah. Go ahead.
no, I just, people often, and I'll do it too sometimes. Like, we can all at times get victimy or complain and whinge about, you know, different things that are occurring. Yet all of it is a perfect designer gift package for our own growth and transformation. That probably wouldn't have happened in any other way, but if we were more conscious, we might have chosen some of it a little differently.
Very interesting. So because I totally agree. It's like we choose our parents, we choose our siblings, we maybe choose that domestic violent relationship, and
And the
we create.
and the place and the place we're born into.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. So you say you help people see what they can't see. So what are some of the most common blind spots that people have about themselves? These are the
Well,
those parts of ourselves,
okay.
or the shadow parts as well.
All right. So when it comes to people's selves, the shadow pieces is one of them. People don't always like to look at their own negativity, and they're not always honest with themselves about it.
Mhm.
The other piece, and it's a big piece, is out of all the thousands of readings I've done, people usually have one area in their lives where they have reoccurring patterns and things show up where they're not seeing that area clearly. And because they're not seeing it and viewing it clearly, they can't work with it effectively because they're either in denial about part of it or they're not perceiving it in a clear way, or they have all these stories around it that prevent them from seeing it in a clear way. So that goes with blind spots because, when I was at university, I was a art major, and I had to take when I transferred schools, I had to take 3 upper division classes outside of my major. And one of those classes was the Holocaust and genocide. Now, I thought I knew all about it because I grew up in a Jewish family, though not religious, like we believed in God, but it was more cultural, and, seeing movies, you just think you know all about it. Well, I got a whole other level of education in that class. And my teacher in that class was a lady from Germany. And every week they had a guest lecturer come to this big auditorium of students to speak to everybody. And one week, a Holocaust survivor came and he said something very significant that's always stayed with me. And that is, whenever we're in denial, it's very destructive. So it's self-destructive, and it's just destructive if we're in denial about seeing things clearly for what they are. And that's always stayed with me. And most people have at least one area that they have denial about. And what I mean by denial, let me be even clearer about it. What I mean by denial is they wished it would be different. They do whatever they can to keep changing it, and they're not willing to accept it as it is, which is a complete energy drain.
Yeah.
Like, an example is anytime you want other people to get something and they don't want to get it, it's an energy drain trying to get them to get it when they don't want to get it.
That's right. Yes. Yes. So, and we could talk about the elephants in the room all the rest of this episode, though.
And the thing is, when people are in denial, it creates a perpetual suffering.
Yeah, well, it's a cycle.
That's a reoccurring pattern of over processing it, not understanding why, not accepting. Whenever we're not willing to accept something for what it is, that can create a deep go around of suffering.
Well, a lot of suffering as well as a lot of struggle and a lot of unforgiveness for whatever, whether it's a situation, circumstance, or an individual, like another relationship. As I say, in regards to self-forgiveness, it's just say it's a domestic violence situation. It's like accept that that person came in for your soul to learn and grow, but not forgiving yourself and forgiving the other person frees you up, not forgiving their behavior, but actually frees you up so you can get on with your life. Because if you're holding on to that anger for the rest of your life, that's what will create the illness or disease in your body. And a lot of suffering, unnecessary.
And that's the other thing. Whatever we tell ourselves about our bodies feel that and take that in and respond accordingly.
Yes, every cell is listening. Yes. Which for those who have never seen the movie What the Bleep Do You Know? It came out 2005 or 6 or somewhere around that. And it uses cartoon characters to actually show what the cells in your body and how it responds to your thoughts and your beliefs and the what you're thinking about yourself. So this is where self-love comes in. Um, Though, David, take us back to the beginning. Like, when did you first realize that you had these intuitive abilities, and what was the awakening like for you? Because you've been on this journey helping others for over 35 years. And so, where did it all start for you?
I thought it was my imaginary playtime growing up. But then later on, when I realized it was all what it was, I realized I was really connecting with beings in other dimensions. And then when I was 19, I went for my first reading with a intuitive reader. And, you know, he mentioned things that only I knew that I never really talked about with anyone. One of those things was I had an out of body experience in high school unexpectedly while we were running to test our pulse rates in one class. We were sprinting and I got myself into a meditative state. And when I was walking back to class, I felt my soul float out above my body. And I was looking at myself standing there and everybody around me from a few feet above me.
Wow.
And I also in high school had this experience while I was in a driver's training class and they went to do the jumper cables, that when they connected the cables underneath the hood of the car, I relived myself in another life, checking something underneath the hood of the car and it exploding, and I died. And I almost fell back to the floor in my seat because it was like reliving the explosion. And I was tilting my chair at the time while I was watching the film. I shouldn't have been tilting my chair, but
Oh,
I was.
you felt
And I caught it. I caught myself. I caught the chair. I like scrambled, but it freaked me out. And I never told anybody about it. And so I go to have this reading when I'm 19 years old. And the first thing he says is, you had a past life in Germany and you went to go check something underneath the hood of the car and it exploded and you died. So you have to be careful of watching violent movies because they can trigger those kinds of memories for you. So
yeah.
I was like, wow. But, and then he mentioned other things like I knew I had a past life with and things like that. And there was just no denying. But then in the middle of the reading, he said, yeah, because I was only 19 years old then. He said, yeah, when you're in your mid 20s, you're going to be doing readings and work similar to what I'm doing. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah,
Mhm.
right. It just didn't match my career pictures. And then
Mhm.
I studied healing when I was 20 and shamanism with a teacher, and she knew I could see. And
Mm.
she used to fly down from Oregon to LA. I would pick her up at the airport. I would drive her 2 or 3 hours to wherever she would be teaching for 2 or 3 days. And I wasn't allowed to look at her. I could only look at the road in front of me and the cars behind me. And she used to have me connect with the guides that were there, tell her who was there, what they were saying, and I'd have to answer her questions while I was driving. So it taught me how to be open to two places at once,
At the
which I
same
don't
time.
recommend learning that way, but it was how she knew I had the gift. And so she
Yes.
was like preparing me. And I came into it so young, like I'd have clients show up in my mid 20s and I look so young. I'd answer the front door and they would be shocked and they were like, "Can I just ask how old you are?" So it was like I was much more grounded in the spirit world first before I learned about the our world. That came later.
Yeah. Right.
And yeah.
So was there a pivotal moment or a crossroads in your
Yeah.
life that,
Yeah, there
yeah,
were a
please
few.
share.
There were a few. So like um when I had a when I was 25, I had a virus in my liver. It was a non-specific virus. It was very painful. I'd have enough energy to go to work and I'd come home and crash. And I went for acupuncture and herbs to control the pain. And it showed up on 2 liver panels and blood panels. Okay. Well, I knew I needed to go see this shaman that I met a year before at a medicine wheel gathering. And it took me a month to get an appointment with him. And when I got the appointment, I had to drop everything and drive to where he was in a whole other area of the state. And I met him at a parking lot at a donut shop. And we went to this area where there were these redwood trees.
Wow.
And he did a healing on me. And he said, that was on a Friday. He said, this will get worse before it gets better. But tonight, that's a good sign because that means it's working. But tonight I'll dream about you to see how I can help you. And we'll know by Wednesday if this works. So that night, no problem. The following 2 days, I was curled up on the floor for 2 days in agony. It was so bad, I had to go in for a third liver panel and blood panel that Monday. I went in for the results that Wednesday, totally clear, nothing, which I thought, wow, that's pretty good because things in the liver aren't always so easy to get rid of.
Yeah.
So shortly after that, I had this inner voice saying, you're being opened up to readings. And I was like, forget it, I'm not doing readings. And so shortly after that, I'd have pain. And after all this pain would go away, all this information would come through about people, things I had no clue about. Like I would just get these downloads of visions. And then I was so shy back then, believe it or not, that and I was coming out of a really kind of bumpy time in my life. 3 different groups of friends who all didn't know each other all referred me to this same woman who did numerology readings. And I was like, I'm not getting any readings right now. Forget it. So I went one Friday night out with one of those groups of friends, and she was there. I couldn't avoid her. So I talked with her and I really liked her. I went for a reading. It was life-changing. We became friends. And I originally learned the numerology as a social icebreaker. So I'd have something to say if people would come for readings. But when I saw what it could do, like how it's like a map, like a GPS, I thought,
Yes.
wow, this is really great because the GPS is there if you want to use it, but you don't have to use it.
Mm.
So that was how the numerology came to me.
So
And
just can we bookmark for those listeners unfamiliar with numerology? Can you just reveal and just go a bit deeper about how numerology is the truths of our life's path and how it all connects with our
yeah,
soul's mission, and just
so
briefly?
the numbers never lie. My numerology teacher used to say, and Faith Javane and Dusty Bunker say in their books, that God geometrizes. My numerology used to say that God communicates in geometric forms and symbols. And it's based on someone's full name at birth and their month, day, and year of birth. And through that, I can do a whole chart. It would be like an astrology chart, only it's all numbers. And
Right.
it shows there's like 7 major numbers. It's like the life lesson number, the soul number. The books call it an outer personality number. Um, there's the destiny number. And then there's the blueprint of someone's life, which shows the 3 major segments of their life and what influences and cycles they're working with in each of those segments and how they can work with them better. It also shows karma numbers. Those are areas that people have to work on. Those are areas where we have more lessons to learn, but I also call those areas opportunities. And
Absolutely.
so through
Yeah.
the whole chart, I can see someone's career number, life path number, I can look at what years they're in because each year somebody gets on a different number for that year, which is like a
Mhm.
new theme of influences. And
Yes.
there's successful ways to work with some of these numbers, and there's not successful ways. So it's all very telling and revealing. And like I was speaking to someone this last week, this person gave me their child's name. And I said, well, this letter's missing, this letter's missing, and this is where these letters are going to show up in their life. And these are the things that they're going to need to pay attention to.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's going to trigger these things. So it's very precise,
Right.
which
Is
is a
there
really
any,
good word.
yeah, have you ever done a reading for someone that even the transformation even surprised you? Like
Yeah,
one of
that
your
happens.
clients?
That happens a lot, but it happens through people being willing, excuse me, people being willing to follow through with the information that comes through and to work with it and to
Hmm.
work with the resources that come through in their readings. Resources could be people like you who are healers and practitioners, if people are clearing things. It could be books, events, seminars, trainings,
Hmm.
websites. And
Hmm.
when people, I don't get anything from anybody that I send people to. There was only one thing I had to become an affiliate of, but I only send certain people to that, not a lot, very certain people. But I tell them if I send them there that I'm an affiliate. It's all transparent. But
Right.
otherwise, my rule is really fair. Like I don't send anybody to anybody that I wouldn't go to myself or send my own mother to. And I do love my mother. So it's a very fair rule, the mother rule, you know? But but
Absolutely.
but when people work with it all, it's like I see them out in life, or I might see them for a session a year later or whenever. And it's like looking at a transformed person that's walked through the room because they were willing to work with whatever was coming through. I tell
Beautiful.
people, I can't know what's best for them in their life. I can only describe what the light is showing me and where I get the energy.
Yeah.
But I also tell people, this feels really flat.
Hmm. So the numerology is a guide and gives you a good blueprint and foundation. Then your intuitive gift also comes through on energetically what's lighting up for them, what their possibilities are, and what new
They
paths of
integrate.
they integrate. Yes.
They totally integrate. I can't explain it. And the way, you know, it took me honestly 17 years into doing readings to get clear about being able to define how the gift worked through me. And after that, it changed everything because it was like discovering my X-Men gifts. And the thing is, after that, it took many, many, many more years to learn how to manage it. So it wasn't managing me because it totally used to manage me. And and now it doesn't. Every once in a while, if I'm in a crowded place with a lot of different energies, it's like, okay, I need to leave right now just to
Yeah.
get some psychic space and not feel all the energies.
So
Um,
what are some of your daily tools that you use on yourself for clearing the energy? Because I can totally, especially for all those empaths and healers and practitioners out there, going into any environment that is low density, we feel immediately being a highly sensitive being. So I also relate because if I'm around a lot of people, I then hibernate to recharge my
so
energy.
one so one of the things that recharges me is having total silence.
Yes. Mm.
Sometimes I can use music a little bit. Um, I nature can do it. Um, I was an art major, so sometimes creativity can help clear me.
Mm.
And
So you paint as well,
yeah,
that you use that as a
and
creative
totally.
outlet.
And then the other thing is, sometimes I'll have a dance party and just turn on the music and dance.
Good.
Sometimes, um, gymming helps.
Mm,
I like doing mantras. And then
mm.
oftentimes, I really like listening to Oracle Girl, because when I listen to her talks, I have to keep clear with my work and with everything. And so
Mm.
when I listen to her talks, it plugs me into a better frequency than all the other frequencies out there that one can plug into.
Beautiful. Well, that's a good testimony for her.
Love her
And
work.
for those who are interested, is this on YouTube or which platform?
She does have some videos on YouTube, but she has her own website. She's very switched on, very awake, very articulate, very well educated, very well traveled. She she doesn't hold back, um, and she's delightful, and very clear. And she'll give a talk on a specific subject, and everything you hold in relationship to that theme or topic gets purified while she's talking about it.
Oh,
You
I
can
love that.
you can feel it being purified within you. So it just clears things. Her
Beautiful.
website is, I'm going to give her a good shout out here. Her real name is Jacqueline Hobbs, and her website is oraclegirl.org.
Beautiful. So write that down, everyone. So, especially for anyone who's doubting themselves, how do we trust our intuition? Especially those thoughts are constantly going around and around. And so, what's the best and
You know,
easiest and quickest
you
way
know,
of
let me say this. It's a funny analogy, but it'll be very clear. So like sometimes when people know better, about making a healthy choice,
yeah,
but they'll do it anyway.
yes, yeah,
It's kind of like that. It's like when you know, and mostly everybody knows if they tune in and allow themselves to know.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. It's a bit like you eating whatever the food is, so I'm gluten free. But if I eat some kind of gluten, well then I'll pay the consequences of that. But intuitively, I already knew that it wasn't the highest vibration food for
It wasn't
me.
your best choice.
But it's like, oh, but it's so yummy. So yeah, that's a good analogy and example. Um, so in regards to where humanity is right now and this collective awakening that we're all feeling, what are you seeing in the next, say, few months? I know that there's big awakening, there's big revolutions going to be happening over the next few years. But even for 2026, what do you see? Because
this this
in my podcast, I actually talk about this, but I'd love to hear your perspective.
it's a big push forward for everybody, and sometimes people this year will be just moved to make a big change in a completely different direction, or move to a completely different place or area, or jump or leap onto a completely different timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to recognize that and do that, people have to do their clear more of the negativity that they plug into, and so they can really be free to be flexible to make those changes. And also, what I mean by also emotional clearing, clearing shadow pieces, which would be areas that um, we might have shame around, or guilt, or remorse, or
Regret.
denial, regret, denial.
Yes. Yeah.
Shadow
Mm.
pieces, you know, they can be so uncomfortable to clear, but they're so liberating to clear them. So shadow pieces could be like self-loathing.
Yeah.
It could be being self-reliant. It could be meaning not being self-reliant. It could be um, so many different things. Um, they can sometimes take a long time to name correctly, but when you name them correctly, they dissipate. But also, the
Yes.
big thing is letting go of addictions. People,
Yes.
people to jump and leap timelines, people have to recognize when they have an addiction, because people can make all the justifications that they want to rationalize it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how I would define addiction is you love it so much you think about it all the time and you can't get enough of it.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
It becomes the relationship for people.
Well, because it's pumping the adrenaline hormone through your body and you're addicted to the drama of that and that whatever that thing is. So
And
that's
and you
it's
mentioned you mentioned
crutch.
a really you mentioned a really big one too, because some people are really addicted to drama.
Yes. I said
Like
that yesterday actually
they
on my
just
podcast.
they just can't function without it. They just need to have it.
Yeah.
And who would they be without their drama
And
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 bringing everybody else into it?
well, exactly. And I know some people who actually, on purpose, create all these fires and drama because that's entertaining for them to watch how it plays out and the havoc and the chaos that it creates. And we're actually seeing this play out globally right
Yeah.
now, which is
So
interesting.
yeah, there are a lot of dramas. Now, I'm not going to hold back here.
Good.
A lot of the disruption and clearing that's happening, like with the wars and things like that,
Mm,
everything that's happening on the outside is a reflection of like what we're clearing on the inside,
mm,
humanity. And
mhm,
so these kinds of clearings and things that are occurring, and clearings might not be the right word for it, because not all of those things are ideal. But sometimes, I don't know, I can't make that comment. But what I'll say is that this is going to catalyze some earth shifts to happen,
mm.
because the let's just use the word clearings, because I can't find a better word. The clearings and disruptions that all of those things are creating are going to catalyze the earth to have big clearings and shifts, which will create some big disruptions.
And absolutely. And we're experiencing and witnessing that right now with the fires as well as the flooding. So, Mother Earth is going through her own clearing and rebirth. And it's a bit like in the tarot, you've got the tower. Well, that's where the destruction and the crumbling and the dissolving of these old systems is occurring, and the darkness is coming to the surface to be cleared. So it's
And
an
I've,
exciting time.
I've asked this question before. Like, why is it illegal? Okay, like, I'm not going to say it like that. Why is it legal to kill people in a war and invade some other countries? Why is that legal when murdering it is not legal? How does that
Yeah,
suddenly become legal?
true. Absolutely. And what's the whole purpose of war? It
Right.
has no purpose. And this is a question I keep asking. It's like, I don't understand, you know. I choose to understand what is the purpose of this war.
And the thing is, like, with all the violence and movies and TV series and everything, it's become so ingrained that it's almost like a natural occurrence because it's been so ingrained into people's psyches that
Mm.
it's just almost has become like a natural part of how the world works.
Yes, if you choose to watch those movies of that
Right,
genre, I
right.
don't. I
Which a,
stay
which
away from.
which a lot of humans would watch.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, no, I stay away from any killing, the hurting of animals, or
Yeah,
any
totally.
uh, murder or drama, or yeah, it's way too much. Um, for my nervous system. And what I teach people is to regulate your nervous system for self-care. So
So
that's really important to me.
I would like to go over one other thing while we're here.
Hmm.
Um, so we are going to be an interstellar race of traveling to other worlds besides the secret space programs,
Yeah.
which have already been doing that for many, many, many years. Technology is way more ahead than what we've been led to believe.
Hmm.
And the thing is, there already are other extraterrestrial races living in our world. We just
Mm.
don't fully realize it yet. And we are
Yeah.
going to have just we are going to have more disclosure, and we are going to have first contact. It may not be all at once. It may start more for those people that are ready in certain places, but it is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, okay, I hate to bring this up, but I will. The Epstein files
Mm.
was way worse than anyone imagined, and
Yeah.
corrupt judges and people held parts of it back to protect
Mm.
certain names. And it's going to blow up and get even bigger. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the Epstein files were just there to prepare people for bigger disclosures that are going to be coming. It was like the
Yeah.
tip of the iceberg as far as
Yeah.
disclosures that are going to come still this year that are really going to blow a lot of people away.
Yeah.
And the Epstein files was really hard to take. I mean, even I cringed when I read certain things. It
Mm.
was just beyond
It's
horrible.
horrific. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's horrific. And for people that are maybe mentally already fragile, I recommend do not watch or research or do anything, because that
Yeah.
may tip you over the edge with
Yeah.
any mental health instabilities,
To- Totally.
because
But the thing
it's
is this.
horrific.
The thing is this. That humanity has to come to a forgiveness with
Yeah.
themselves,
Mm,
finding out about all of that and that allowing that to be there, but it was so hidden.
that's right. Yes. Yes. The truth will continue to come to the surface.
Yes, and
And
the evil is being cleared out of our world.
yeah, yeah. I and what an exciting time for all of humanity. to witness and observe what's going on the planet right now. And our galactic brothers and sisters are all helping to help the earth and humanity through this huge revolution of upgrading consciousness that we're all experiencing right now.
And
And
some people made soul agreements to wake up at the very last minute, and they will. They'll just
yeah,
be pushed through the birth canal of awakening at the last minute when they weren't
and
even expecting to be.
well, and some may choose to go through this process in another lifetime.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
and
the opportunity is there for
mhm.
people that are willing, and people who are willing to do the clearing and their own inner work, and it's the grace that wakes people up.
Yeah. So, David, what is one message that you would like the audience to hear right now through to something they can walk away with in order to discover their soul's purpose? What would that be?
You know, as you open your hearts, connect with the things that you loved or were interested in as a child,
Mm,
and give your child inside you more freedom and room to be heard and seen and expressed, to give them more of what they want, and to connect with the things that you have curiosity to know more about,
mm,
because you never know what's behind a door until you go through it. And if you don't like what's on the other side of the door, you can always open up a different door or go back through the door you came.
yeah.
So, you have nothing to lose by exploring things that you're interested in or curious about, or that you feel energy around.
Mm.
And I'd say that's a great place to start, to just throw yourself into something that interests you or that you enjoy and love or that you have curiosity about.
Exactly. It's follow your bliss, follow
And then
what lights you up, follow what brings you joy.
it's also like, okay, you're here on this planet. If there was one thing you could do to make it better while you're here, what would that one thing be for you?
Mm. Yeah, beautiful. And so, what happens energetically when someone moves from forcing life to actually just flowing with their soul's purpose? Because it's all energy. We are all energy. So, when we can just flow with the energy, because for April, the flow formula workshop is the theme for April. So,
It,
flowing with the energy. What's your perspective on that?
it allows more light to come through, and it allows more grace to flow through, and um, it allows creator to create through you.
Mm,
So it usually becomes much bigger than you would have
that's
even imagined.
yeah, yeah. It's like the alignment
And
of
more
the
freedom,
connection. Yes,
much more
yes,
freedom, more joy, more freedom, more appreciation,
yeah.
more
Beautiful.
gratitude.
Yeah. Any final words that you would like to share for the audience listening today?
Yeah. I had a friend, Julian. He's now in the light, and he used to say there's three currencies in the universe. There's the currency of gratitude, appreciation, and acknowledgement. All of those currencies will open doors and will get you a pass to connect more with your own, what Oracle Girl would call purity, or love, the love energy that's a part of everything.
Mm.
All of it'll get you a pass. Gratitude, appreciation, and acknowledgement.
I love that. Those three words. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, this has been amazing, and thank you for sharing your insight. For those who would like to have a private reading, what's the best way they can contact you?
Um, People are welcome to text me or WhatsApp me, but they got to put their name in the text and where they, how they found out about me. Um, just so I can recognize it. I get a lot of spam. Um, my number for WhatsApp, you have to put a plus sign in before the country code. So it's the plus sign and then one, and then it's 707-548-7500. And my website is INNER precision, PRECISION.com.
And I'll put that in the show notes as well for everybody. And you can click on those links. And also, you're on social media as well. They
I
can
am.
find you and follow you. And
I
so
have an I
anyone
have an
who would
inner
like a reading, yes, David?
I have an inner precision page on Facebook. People are welcome on that. I have an
Mhm.
Instagram, art by David Groode. I'm on LinkedIn. Um, yeah. So those would be some good places. I'm on X and I'm on TikTok, but not as much as some of the others, and on YouTube.
Love it. Love it. Well, David, thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing. It's been enlightening, and I'm sure the audience will really appreciate your insight and wisdom that you have shared today. And I know that it was so many other rabbit holes that we could go down, but we'll leave that for another episode as things unfold here on planet Earth and the amazing time that we're in. So let's keep in touch, and thank you so much for your time and being here and sharing your love and your light and everything that you're doing to help all the many souls awaken to who they truly are. You're a blessing to the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much, LindaJoy. Thank you for having me on here, and thank you for all your amazing friendship and generosity.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. Bye, everyone. See you next time.